but I was waiting for the misogyny to peep through, and it did towards the end.
All right.
It's not even about dating a broke man. I think broke is relative.
Look at him. Look.
I think broke is relative. But I don't want to be someone who can't afford.
He must be broke.
The lifestyle I have. You know, like you don't even have to pay for my lifestyle, but you have to be able to keep up with mine. You know, I don't want to say, oh, I'm going for Art Basel in Miami, and they say, oh, baby, have a good time.
I originally was going to go over this content right here. Let's take a look at the name. Elsa Majimbo on Kenya colorism going viral, whatever, okay? It was an interesting conversation between this brother right here, who is comedian Godfrey. And he was having a conversation between, I guess, who the Elsa young lady is, who, whoa! He was having a conversation within this, and there became a conversation about relationships and female expectations. And the young lady with the Super Saiyan colored hair with the wig edges currently protruding in a fashion that lets you know that she don't give a damn whether or not you know that it's fake or not, with the ice cream colored eyebrows, was having a response that I think that was worthy for dissection, assessment, and conversation. But I went up to these TikTok streets and I found a black feminist page that is mischaracterizing the comments that Godfrey is saying in a way that is so destructive and so damaging, it'll make your head spin. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up to this TikTok page and listen to this bitter woman's perspective of this conversation and diagnose without further ado. Now, the TikTok page for today's assessment goes by Not Your White Woman's Feminism, all right? And I also want to quantify this just so we can understand not only the damage that these bitter, lonely women's mindsets are doing or committing onto our world today, but then also to understand how much of the hive mind believes in the things that she's about to say. And within that quantification, we have 48,000 likes, which means that this is to the tune of hundreds of thousands of views, all right? But let's just drop down up in there and see what the commotion is about. Let's go.
Okay, I want to talk about this interview.
Sure.
Godfrey and Akbar are interviewing Elsa Majimbo, and it's been a pretty good interview so far. But I was waiting for the misogyny to peep through, and it did towards the end.
All right.
There's this thing that black men do to black women, specifically in this case, dark-skinned black men would do it to dark-skinned black women because they already have this thing set that black women should just expect to take whatever it is that is out there for them. And quite frankly, these two are projecting onto Elsa. So let's watch and then break it down.
You don't want to date a broke man. Damn! How much money does a man have to make you date, for you to go out on a date with him?
I think.
Okay, hold on. Really quickly. And I really want you all to pay attention to Godfrey's body language, okay? But now, you see, when a man says this, like, okay, you said you're not going to date a broke man. How much money would it take for a man to have in order to date you? It then becomes this thing that is measurable.
Quantified.
Because then
yes.
They can say...
No, because everyone needs to understand what broke means. There's some people that quantify broke way different than what other people quantify broke as. It makes it measurable.
They can react to the number, right? Let's just say she said, oh, it's a man has to make $52 million a year in order to take me out on a date. And they're like, what? That's crazy. Whatever. It
is.
Because they're projecting, right? That might be a number that you might not ever see in one sitting in your life, right? But again, there is this expectation that black women, dark-skinned black women specifically, you just take what you get, right?
What?
Let's finish.
The assumption that men are just supposed to okay delusion is the crux of the misunderstanding within your argument. No. Determining 50 million to 100 million is something that somebody might not see. Therefore, that person is trying to limit you as a dark-skinned black woman has got to be the highest form of delusion I have ever heard of. And to think that this clown rhetoric, delusion, irrationality, and lack of logic is what leads these feminism movements, as proven by this clown. Quick emergency meeting. I was recently searching for my name online and found way too much personal information, which brought me down this weird rabbit hole of how that could have happened, and found out that there's companies out there called data brokers that will sell your data to marketers, scammers, and even stalkers. And it's a nasty, disgusting feeling knowing that there's bad actors out there selling my information, selling your information for profit. But that's why I'm recommending today's sponsor, Aura. Now, I use Aura to automatically remove my information from these sites and keep my information off. But they do other things as well, such as bank fraud and identity theft alerts, VPN access. But guys, utilize my link down in the description box down below for a 14-day trial. At least see if you've been compromised. Privacy is king in this day and age, and you should know if your information is out there. So again, utilize my link, aura.com/MTR, in the description box down below to try 2 weeks free. That's way more than enough time to see if your personal data has been exposed. Go now.
It's not even about dating a broke man. I think broke is relative.
Look at him. Look.
I think
Broke is
relative, but I don't want to be someone who can't afford.
He must be broke.
The lifestyle I have. You know, like you don't even have to pay for my lifestyle, but you have to be able to keep up with mine. You know, I don't want to say, oh, I'm going for Art Basel in Miami, and they say, oh, baby, have a good time. You know, I was like, oh, let's go for Art Basel in Miami. You know, I want the things that are stopping you are technical stuff, not.
So hold up now.
Okay, let's break this down really quickly.
Okay.
So what I'm hearing Elsa say is, meet me where I am. You should have what I have. Someone like her, she has access and resources to things that maybe not the everyday man is going to have access to. So that puts her in a different bracket, which is something that he's having an issue. He's having an issue with this internally. And again,
but why?
Him being a dark-skinned black man, look at how uncomfortable he is. There's a lot of shit that he wants to say, but he knows that he has to play it cool because the internet is going to tear him up. Godfrey, I see right through you. He's like, this is like, basically he's kind of like, bitch, how dare you? You're setting a standard and you're talking about like, oh, because earlier in the interview, she talked about, you know, going shopping on Rodeo and traveling and she's living the upper echelon life. Now listen to what he's going to say, because this is what he thinks that she deserves.
Okay.
It's a good comment. This is a fine guy. He works hard.
Okay.
Maybe he's a trucker. Okay. He's a trucker.
A trucker.
What our business? Well, I got to be on the road for about, I got to deliver cattle, but you have a good time. But he's making money though. You wouldn't want that.
Why would I be with a trucker?
I mean, he's making good money. They make good money.
Okay.
That doesn't fucking matter.
He cares for you.
Look at his face. It's so smug.
When would we meet?
Exactly.
Well,
You never know. The truck stop.
Okay.
Why the f should she be at a truck stop?
Oh.
This bitch just said Art Basel in Miami. That is a specific, again, access and resources. That is a very specific type of crowd, especially for Elsa and the type of people that she has connections with in the industry and stuff, right? So you're saying, nah, like you should settle, and be with the trucker. He got money. He's gonna love you. This is nasty work.
Would you date a bus driver?
Oh wait, she has a clip here.
You.
If he owned the
owns
bus. Right, okay.
If he owns it. If he owns the bus.
That's a problem. That's a problem.
All right.
That's a problem.
Okay.
Let's talk about some of her points. There are way too many issues and problems with her argument to count, but we're going to go through a couple of them. The first thing that she attempted to do was to position her audience within an ear of the things that they are about to say are misogyny. Now, misogyny means hate for women. These men, of questioning in regards to her standards or expectations, said nothing to her that was hateful. Ergo, the modern day woman's definition of what misogyny is, which is a man said something that is against what I think, feel, or like. You as a man are not allowed to question anything that I place in front of you as a woman, for if you do, then that must mean that you hate me. And the woman that owns this profile, just because a man challenges your thought does not mean that he hates you, ma'am. And in fact, this is why so many of these bitter, single, and alone, forever alone cat ladies hated a Kevin Samuels, because Kevin offered a degree of challenge into the societal prescription that so many of these women lemming themselves into. So no, challenge is not misogyny. Second point, women should have standards the same way that men should have standards, but they're going to have different standards because we are incentivized in different ways. But women should absolutely have standards. Now, while anybody can have whatever standards and expectations that they want, you also have to work in reality. Okay. The inability to challenge a woman's standards or ask her a question. If she has a $50 to $100 million need or want in a man, according to what you just said, inability to do that is just simply insane. We all judge books by the cover. We also judge people by the expectations that they have. This is not a black man to dark-skinned black man to dark-skinned black woman thing. We all do that. Women do that to other women as well. But because you're such a victim in the society that you currently live in, and then you also have this psychopathic focus on your color as to the reason is why so many things within your life happen to you, you can't see the forest beyond the logical trees. Perhaps there's other reasons besides the color of her skin that is leading to a questioning of her expectations. May it not be the changing of the eye color, right? May it not be the blonde color wig. May it not be even her degree of beauty, okay? As much as these women don't want to give into a man's preference towards a woman, meaning what he visually sees in identifying a woman that he might want to settle down with, that perspective or that lens that you drive that conversation with is just so incredibly limited. But because of low IQ, you can only estimate it up to a person's hue. Now, my third point here, and after this, we'll pull up the next section of this clip, is focusing in on this truck driver thing. It's clear that if she's going to events like Art Basel and stuff like that, she's looking for a degree of financially competent man. And it's okay if her expectation of truck driver, right, who's an average to above average worker, depending upon the type of trucks that he drives, if that's not within the type of lifestyle that she expects, that's fine. I think Godfrey was utilizing the truck driver as an illustrative example of a man who's of good moral, good integrity, but also doesn't make a lot of money, as a way to position that perhaps there were other qualities besides how much a man makes, which should help you understand his value. I think far too many today just put solely an importance on money, and I think that men should be treated a little bit better than just ATMs.
I want you all to pay attention to Godfrey's body language in this clip.
And you need time and emotional availability to do that.
So I have something for you with that.
Look,
because
smug.
The guy's
Look.
doing this, the guy's doing that. And I find this to be true. And I even have this conversation with
Look
my
at
wife.
him.
We tell our boys, hey man, you gotta make sure you do this for the girls. You gotta make sure that, and we tell our girls, hey, make sure the guy's doing this, make sure doing this. And I had this conversation with my wife and say, hey, it's about time now that we start teaching our daughters how to treat a man. Have you been
There you go.
Look,
on how
he
to
been
treat a
waiting.
man? Because it's always the expectation is on
What you
know,
want.
how the man
pressure
is
on the
supposed
man.
to be
Yeah.
treating a
Right.
woman.
Shut up.
But I find that there's not enough conversation or
No, woman, you shut up. Men of today are experiencing a new version of woman. It's referred to as the modern woman. And the modern woman is way more independent and way more selfish than what they have ever been in the history, at least in the West. The average young lady today doesn't know that one of the fundamental factors of keeping a man is to keep his belly full and full of sustenance. Yet at the same time, the average modern young lady doesn't even know how to make rice nowadays. So when he's saying it's time to start teaching or reteaching, I think that that's a fair point. But listen, you can have criticism that men have forgotten some of this. So we need to start teaching boys to men to do this or what have you. But that's not what you're doing.
ability in how women are supposed to treat men because it's
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Accountability? Are you fucking kidding me?
like, well, he's supposed to be treating me this way.
Yep.
Because to your
He's supposed to be treating me this way, but yet he is universal for all of the men that do not treat women well. And yet y'all still aren't fucking doing it.
point about the guys just jumping around and going around, it's like guys won't say it, so I'll say it for them. Guys want to be treated well too. Guys want to be, and I'm not just talking about sex.
Look, why are you pointing at her? Who? Oh, okay.
I'm talking about beyond that and being able to, is that something that you were taught by, hey, you know, maybe people in your life said, you know what, this is how you need to treat a man and this is how you keep a man.
Let's hear what she has to say.
You know
first.
what? I agree with you. I
Okay.
think
Elsa.
men are
Yes.
I think men are deserving of reciprocated behavior. Even like
Fair.
when I see
Okay, this is what I want to say, because now the gaslighting and the emotional manipulation is working because they want her to fawn. Any person in any relationship deserves reciprocity. But the patriarchy,
Oh,
especially, it's the both of them against her. The patriarchy is so sinister because it'll really have you kind of cowering your values in a sense to kind of make them feel better, because she knows that their egos are bruised, and now she has to kind of like give this answer and land it so it doesn't make it seem like, oh, she's just material and wants to date a millionaire and, you know, doesn't know how to treat a man because she wants a rich man and all of this other bullshit. I don't like this.
You know,
Reciprocity is now patriarchy, guys. You got that? Clock it.
when I see sometimes some women mistreating guys and all this and this and that,
Okay.
I
The percentage or the population of women who, quote, mistreat men, because often, like, I'm not even all that. I feel like majority of the time, if a woman is mistreating a man, it is like reactionary to some shit that he's already done to her.
Whoa.
So even you speaking on this is a very, very, very small percentage of men who, quote unquote, mistreat men.
Notice she said, I feel like. Now, in order to bring this above feeling and into actual thought, let's go get the data. So I'm over here at the National Library of Medicine, which is an official website of the United States government. So we're not going to get data from no rinky-dink website. We're going to go to the real thing. So when we talk through the prevalence of women's perpetration of different types of abusive behaviors, let's just talk about physical aggression and violence first. All right. So how prevalent is women's intimate partner violence in the United States, and how does it compare to the prevalence of men's intimate partner violence? Okay. And when considering physical aggression, it is the subject of inquiry. Studies consistently find that as many women self-report perpetrating this behavior as do men. Some studies find a higher prevalence of physical aggression committed by women. This would also help us understand why the highest rates of domestic violence is women on women. But of course, men have bigger, stronger bodies. So the negative consequences of physical aggression or violence is going to be on the news more often than not. But anyway, they conducted a study of 6,000 men and women, and 12.4% of wives self-reported that they use violence against their husbands, compared to 11.6% of husbands who self-reported using violence against their wives. Again, this is self-reported. Okay. Furthermore, 4.8% of wives reported using severe violence against their husbands, whereas 3.4% of husbands reported using severe violence. Studies with college samples also find that men and women commit similar rates of physical aggression, or a higher prevalence of women committing physical aggression. I'm gonna leave a link to this entire study down in the description box so you guys can go research it yourself.
don't agree with it. I'm not for it. But, you know, I'm not a man, so I can't really
Period.
advocate for that. But I know
I like
even
that she
the
said
guys
that.
who I'm with, I think I treat the guys I'm with really well. Like, and it's not even just because I feel,
Is that based on your perspective or
it is,
based on
it
his
is,
perspective?
no,
What?
It is, no, it's a, I
The gaslighting, they're really trying, they're using, these are like mentally how am I trying to say this? They're using mental tactics because they're trying to break her down. She's holding her ground now, but they want her to fawn. They want her to fawn and give in.
I can't speak for them,
Okay.
but I'd like to think that I do, like, I'll go out of my way to cook for them or to remember their birthday and
Oh, that's good.
be there and support, so, you know, support the things they're doing. And I expect them to do the same with me, but I also wanna give love, you know?
Yeah.
That's why even when I tell you, some guys, I tell them, hey, I think like we're done, it's because I know I wouldn't be able to meet them where they require me to meet them.
Yeah.
So I also wanna be with someone who I'll love. I wanna be with someone who I want to.
So all this
give
old
my
flashy
kid-
stuff is all bogus.
Listen.
No, I can see it in your face.
Listen, see? See?
I need love.
He thinks this shit is a joke.
I want to treat my partners properly. I want to treat my partners
Look.
properly. I want them to feel loved. I want them to feel appreciated. But I can't advocate for that because I'm not a man. So what do I advocate?
Period.
I advocate for me to be treated
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, I will say this to you. This is just
Oh
really
God.
just like Uncle Ock just stepping in and just saying
Fuck
this.
you.
You know, it is important that you're treated well.
Look at his
But
face.
I would propose
She's
to you.
so upset.
Next time you find a guy that you're like, yo, I'm really digging him, like ask him, how would you like to be treated? And really be open to it.
What?
Because sometimes what I find is that women say, hey, this is how I'm treating you the best that I can, but never ask.
That's not
or
true.
Even took the time to understand what he really needs. to
That's not
be
true.
fit.
That's not true. That's not fucking true.
Tell me why,
That's not
angry
true.
lady.
That is not true.
Tell me why.
Okay. I just wanted y'all to see
What?
how they are really.
It's not true. It's not true. It's not true. It's a simple question that they were all asking with simple challenges in a lighthearted conversation meant to promote conversation, meant to promote discussion. But this woman is probably sitting in her dusty apartment that probably smells like shit, smoke alarm probably beeping somewhere in the other room. So unhappy that she doesn't have a man, cries herself to sleep every night, seething behind her Dell laptop, cussing at these people, portraying all of the hate, demonstrating why a man will never take her seriously. No wonder she's so bitter and so unhappy.
they want to take her contents and put it in like a what is that thing called, mortar and a pestle, and just grind it, break it down, grind her down, grind her confidence, her self-esteem, her self-worth down. Because these two men, these are small men.
Shut up. Yeah. At the point that there was a talk of about reciprocity, right? So if a woman throws out that you expect a dude to be on this monetary level, whereas men don't really care about a young lady's monetary level, they're more so looking in the behavior. And if older men are perhaps introducing a degree of empathy of generally what would those type of men want, and then you have the black feminist brigade that just see nothing but hate beyond an honest conversation and an honest question, continues to promote why we are so far gone and so cooked. For all of the lovely young ladies that are down up in there that have time to understand where they are at or situated within the dating marketplace and really formally assess kind of how do men see you, like when you're not at this old ass woman bitter stage and all you're doing is seething and coping and being upset, typing on a keyboard or talking into a microphone about how much that you hate men, right? Hopefully you're not there yet. Okay, that means that we still got you, right? But the idea of reciprocity is not patriarchy. Okay, it's not hate. What these men just did is not misogyny, right? You can have a challenging conversation and don't find it offensive if within that you have to think about things that the man would want or that you can contribute to a man, okay? Because inevitably, what of the type of man that you want, what is he looking for? Because men that are choosing to get into relationships with assets as opposed to liabilities will be thinking through that. Okay. And do not let the mindset of a banshee or a hyena like this woman, all right, this feminist woman, derail you from understanding that answer to that very question. All right. And if you don't understand it, you might want to ask if you're doing a good job for the man that you're with or for the men that have been previous within your life in order for you to understand more. And that goes the mindset. It's humbleness at the end of the day. All right. Now, this old, bitter, dusty woman, you know, she's way beyond saving. She's way past the part of humble. So now she's just angry, right? Let her be angry. All right. Now that you're still young, modest, and beautiful, right? You know, you can leave all that alone and you can figure out the mindset, right, that can benefit you. For these women are so locked into their narratives of how they're, you know, being withheld and it's colorism. Like it's so honestly, it's pathetic and weak. And, you know, thing is that I think it's beyond disgusting when I see men do that. Like, right, I want nothing to do with them. And I guess like when women do it too, right? Like let them with the victimship, blaming shit. Everyone needs to be equal, right? Like let them do that shit. But then men worth their weight in salt. They generally don't think like feminists. Okay. And we respect women that will listen. Offer a different perspective, not just assume that a challenge is misogyny. All right. And you know what's also incredible with these pieces of content? Just humor me for a quick second. Let's look at the actual comment section, right? Like this is the one that went stupid. We must stop letting people question us. We don't owe them explanations. Don't let others define your standards. That's why I don't explain any of my standards. I am me. You can have whatever standard that you want. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Okay. If you's a Pinto with a $100,000 price tag, that could be your standard as a Pinto, baby love. Continue to have that standard. You gonna sit up on the lot. All right. So anyway, let's get off of this. All right, guys, let me know what you think about the content as told to you down in the comment box down below. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Shout out to Aura for sponsoring this video. Taking private information off of these public websites. Aura is who I utilize in order to do that for me. Link down below. All right, click on it. It'll give you 2 weeks free. At least see if your information has been exposed. It is incumbent that you do so. All right, there's a lot of scammers out there that are looking for your information to besmirch your name. All right, love you guys. Let me know what you think about this piece of content, and I'll see you very, very soon. Until next time, peace.
So, without further ado, MTR, cut through the BS like we in charge. No cap with the rappers like steel bars. I'm packing and rapping like here we are. Mediocre tutorial reviews. Like, comment, share my views. Come up and I paid my dues. Big step in my black way shoes. MTR. He break it down, yeah, it's MTR. Check out the sound when it's MTR. No one put it down like it's MTR.